The two stars that surprised Jeri Lynne the most. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music. Jeri Lynne has been in the industry since she was 10 years old, doing jingles for the famous radio station KHJ and many other stations after that. She kept at it, working with bands like our subject today, the Righteous Brothers, Michael McDonald, Jeff Bridges, B.J. Thomas, Crystal Gale, Tony Basil. She was Peter Tork of the Monkees' manager, and she's also performed with David Foster, Warren Wiebe, the Judds, and many more. She'll be talking about her Todd Rundgren project during this series. And by the way, if you want to see the entire interview, it's on her sister station right now at Rock History Book. Jeri Lynne on her years with the Righteous Brothers. Who was the biggest surprise where you have an image of someone, but when you meet them, and I get that all the time interviewing people, I go, oh my God, I never thought that you were into this. And my God, we talked for, was there one of those?
Several. Whoopi Goldberg was one. When she was filming Sister Act in Reno, we were playing there at Harrah's, and she came to our show a couple nights in a row because they were in town filming, and she was so, what's the word I'm looking for? She was so open. You just felt like you knew her. You know what I mean? She was just so down home and just so from the heart and funny and just open. I mean, there was no like star vibe, or unapproachable vibe. She was just so totally, I just keep coming back to the word open. She was so great. She sat with me and talked for about an hour after we all sat together with the Righteous Brothers, because her and I were studying with the same vocal coach in LA. I was studying with Seth Riggs. She was studying with Seth's wife, because she had to sing in that movie and then the three girl sequence. So she was saying, girl, give me some secrets. Give me some. I said, I'm going to tell you the same thing that they're telling you. She goes, yeah, but you're here now. So that was kind of fun that we shared some of that. But I kept in touch with her, and I mean, and when you look at all the great stuff she's done, she is still that person. You know what I mean? She's just even. And another person who surprised me was Kenny Rogers. Now I never worked with Kenny, but when I left the Righteous Brothers, they did a lot of stuff with him before and after I came along, actually. And so I went to a couple of the shows, and he was just like your brother, like your dad. I mean, he was like the coolest guy ever to talk to. Very, very cool, very approachable. And, when I think of names like Kenny Rogers, you're thinking big, epic. And it's just like, just like you and me talking. It's pretty amazing.
Did your parents, are they still around? Did they get to see your success?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, my father is gone, but my mom is with us. However, she's, in the throes of dementia. And so, but she's a good sport. I mean, she loves music. And I turn on in her room, how we have all the music channels, or she will get a hold of the remote. And, she likes to watch cop shows. Don't ask me why, but she loves those shows. But she will get off course, just start clicking and clicking. And then I will hear blasting out of the back of the house. I'll hear, some Sinatra or one day Pat Benatar came blaring out of my mom's room, and she's laying on her bed going, just like totally loving it. And I'm cracking up because I'm like, can you hear that? Okay. Because it's like, yeah. But my mom was, she was a supporter. She always came to my shows.
Okay, I'm going to start with the radio question.
Okay.
Sam Riddle, Robert W. Morgan. Like, there's a great respect that I think a lot of announcers have when they know any singer has done any kind of jingle work or any kind of like voicing on the radio.
Right.
Let's start there. Before we start about you singing, how did you get that gig at the age of 10?
Well, let's see. It was, they had, at Christmas time, they had the KHJ Christmas Wish. So you would send in a postcard with whatever your Christmas wish desire was. Well, our wish was for an electric can opener for our mom because she had the old crank style and she broke it and all hell broke loose. So we wrote in and asked for an electric can opener and we got selected. So my dad drove us to Hollywood to the studio, to KHJ Studio, which, that was a big deal in LA. That was the big one. And there they were, Sam Riddle, Robert W. Morgan. And we were asked what our wish was. And then they asked us to tell it on the air. And my sister was very shy, painfully shy. And she was afraid to speak. And me being the ham I was, I just said, we're here. We want our Christmas wishes for electric can opener for our mom because hers is broke.
Man, you revert right back to that pretty good.
Well, I do children's voices for a living. But so we and everybody started laughing, and I couldn't figure out what was so funny, But when we were given our gift and sent on our way and went home, we got a call back saying they wanted me to do some station IDs. I was like, what? What's that? And so that's how it started. And then from there, I got hired to do some commercial work, kids' voice commercial work. And I'm in my 60s now, and I'm still doing children's voices.
Did you get into that easily? Were you able to, as a child, and I'm always curious when people get thrust into something, some people kick and scream things in life, whether they're good and bad, they just fight it all the time. But You said you were a ham. Did you just walk in and?
I was just like on stage all the time. Apparently I was pretty gregarious kid, according to my mom. And, or she, as she liked to say, you're a show off. Oh, stop showing off. But, I lived in my head. I had all these little voices, so I would imitate everything I heard. And apparently it worked for me later in life. So I ended up getting work doing that. And then I did. So at that age, I was doing, my own natural voice for commercials and stuff. And then later on, I came back to that same radio station because then when we had the rock stations, KMET, KLOS, KROQ, Rodney Bingham and all those guys, who I'm talking about, they hired me to do station IDs, and we would take whatever pop songs were, sorry, my thing's falling out here. We would take whatever pop songs were popular at the time and insert the call letters of the station. So it might be a Pretenders song. It might be, Joan Jett or something, but whatever it was. So we would do a piece of the song and insert the call letters in. So that's why I went from children's voices to rock voices, and then I just got into TV jingle work, and commercials and station IDs. And then I did sound alikes for a lot of TV shows, because back then, it was still, licensing was still a problem back then, and paying royalties, a lot of money. So they would do the easier route and have us do sound alikes. So one day I'd be Chrissy Hind and the next day I'd be Aretha. So I never knew who I was going to be until I got the call.
Did your parents get it? Did your parents, that was an early age of you going in there and you're earning money. Did they get it?
Not at first. Not at first. They did when they saw the paychecks. Right. But then it was kind of a, back and forth battle. Sometimes they, especially when I was in school, and then I would have to take off school to do something, and then so sometimes they were okay with it. Sometimes they were not, because it was a giant pain to stop the world and drive Jeri Lynne to Hollywood. But it's what we did,
Did they ever tell you to get a real job at that? Was there ever
Oh,
a point
heck
where
yeah.
they said, okay, this can only go so far? I'm just curious.
Oh, heck yeah. 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 And my mom remarried a couple times, and my father was an artist. He got it. But my stepfather, he was total business guy and didn't get it. And so he was like, couldn't understand. And, and he wanted me to get a real job. In fact, he wanted me to come work for his company selling cars. I lasted 2 days.
I would have thought you would be good at that too, though. I don't know.
Well, I said, well, I can sing the jingle for your car commercial, but no, I'm not good behind the desk. I will be horrible.
Remember, the entire interview will be on our sister channel, Rock History Book. It's there right now. If you want to help the channel, the 2 Ps, you can make a donation on PayPal or get early access to our videos via Patreon. Like our videos, subscribe to our channel, comment on the videos, and share them on social media where you think they're appropriate. More from Jeri Lynne in the next 2-3 days. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music.